Easy Explain, Cartesianism, Discourse on the Method, Part 2. So we're going to move into Part 2 of Descartes' Discourse here. And the main focus, the heart of this, is his presentation of his 4 rules to follow if you're actually going to follow this method. And this is, again, his method of how to think, how to do philosophy. So he's setting some groundwork here, right? He's coming up with some rules. How do we actually do this? Just a quick disclaimer, these are not his actual words. These are not direct quotes. They are very close to the original from the translation I'm working from, but they've been slightly paraphrased to make reading them a little bit easier. Just a quick disclaimer. So the first rule here for Descartes is never accept anything as true if there is not evident knowledge of its truth. Avoid precipitate conclusions and preconceptions. Include nothing more in judgments than what presents itself to the mind so clearly and so distinctly that there is no occasion to doubt it. So to sum this up, essentially, he's starting to lay down this groundwork for what will become a big theme in Cartesian philosophy of clear and distinct ideas and clear and distinct thoughts as being the grounds for truth. We see that here in the first rule. To move on to his second rule, divide each of the difficulties examined into as many parts as possible and as may be required in order to resolve them better. So the main idea here is kind of going back to some of the groundwork he put out in part 1 is we're going to take this very slow. One idea, one thought at a time. We're not going to jump to conclusions. We're going to get as piecemeal as possible with our individual concepts and individual thoughts. The third rule, direct thoughts in an orderly manner by beginning with the simplest and most easily known objects in order to ascend little by little, step by step, to knowledge of the most complex, and by supposing some order even among objects that have no natural order of precedence. So again, similar theme here to the first two, right? We're going to focus on clarity and distinctness or distinction, and we're going to try to get our thoughts as small as possible and then build up from there, taking as logical and reasonable as possible of steps by steps and thoughts by thoughts until we get to some bigger picture, more complex thoughts. That's how we're going to put these big concepts together. And we're going to see this as we start to look at Descartes' arguments through the discourse and through his meditations as well. And finally, the fourth rule in part 2 here, throughout the method, make enumerations so complete and reviews so comprehensive that there's certainty of leaving nothing out. So here he's really just saying make sure you cover all your bases, think about as many things as possible, make sure you haven't not unthought something, and that should help you out here as well. I hope this helps.